Hello, my name is Nicole Peterson. I am a student at Texas Women's University. Today I will be presenting my research on the Burmese language in comparison to the English language. I would like to thank Dr. Anita Owens for her assistance in this research. Without her, this project couldn't be what it is today. Due to the length of the project, I will be going over only the necessary information due to a time constraint. Thank you for your patience. Let's begin. What we have here is, first of all, our introduction, which essentially the point of this research is to help educators in the ELL and ESL classroom understand and be able to reach out and assist their students from Burma or Myanmar. And one of the primary goals as an ESL or ELL teacher is to encourage equal usage and language content knowledge on the L1 and the L2. That is very crucial in the child's development and cultural enrichment. We'll begin by discussing the phonological challenges. As you can see here, we do have a variety of sounds in Burmese language that do not exist in the English language. As an educator, you will be challenged in helping these students maintain these sound systems while also being able to assist the students with new ones, which are demonstrated here. As you can see, these are aspects of the language that will not be used in Burmese, and thus you will need to make sure the students do have good understanding of this in their ELL acquisition process alongside these as well. There are a few challenges. American English speakers did find difficulties in understanding Burmese English accents in the words listed here. That is also due to phonological differences in the Burmese language, and so the challenge is we want ELL students to be understood and to be able to convey the knowledge that they have and relay it to the target language. Let's see, there are also consonant clusters that are utilized in the Burmese language. Not only are they in the root initial position, there are two types of consonant clusters, stop aeronasal in addition to a liquid, or a consonant with a semivowel. In English, the clusters will utilize three sounds as the lengthiest cluster. English consonants are not only in the root initial position, rather it also must be. The second one is a voiceless stop. And the third one, an approximate R, L, or W sound for the consonant position to be correct. As you can see, there are two discrepancies between those two. Plurality also. The Burmese nouns mya and tue are used to mark plurality and are used within sentences and constructions within the language. Personal pronouns are used to mark plurality along with inclusiveness. Also, articles, there are no articles used in the Burmese language, and so learners will experience difficulty in understanding, processing, and application of articles used in the English language, so extra care will be needed to assist L2 learners in the understanding of that. Conjunction are used in the Burmese language, occurring sentences in the second of two sequential independent clauses. We also have comparative and superlative forms. They are used in the Burmese language and they are served to modify adjectives. There are definitely a few ways that can be used and also similar in the English language. Suffixes are used to show inflection, but the inflection does differ in English, such as the inflection is used to lower the tone of the speaker's voice rather than rising to ask a question. Students will potentially struggle with inflections at the end of English sentences. One strategy that you could possibly use are where you can have scenarios or skits where the student will have to ask questions, and we can show students how to raise their voice when they are asking a question. There are also a few more challenges in morphologies, particularly prefixes. They are used, but the aspect or modality cannot be directly prefixed with the A. The main verb is without versatile auxiliary modification or followed by a particle marking tense that is allowed to be nominalized according to Burmese grammatical rules. We also do have examples of borrowed words. These were ones that could be proven in research. As you can see, these 5 words are used most commonly in the English system, and there are several borrowed words that do exist. We also have possession, which is creaky tone, excuse me. That is a crucial aspect of the language. With human possessors, creaky tone is used alongside personal pronouns, and that is noted as a grammatically induced creaky tone or syllables that are ordinarily level toned. We also have pronouns. There's the subject and object. And grammatical gender and kinship terms. Grammatical gender verbs are non-existent in Burmese. Gender insertion rules are actually applied to the kinship terms regulations. For example, all males of the 3rd generation are referred to with one term, which essentially would mean great-grandfather. Male and female relatives are always differentiated, and terms exist in Burmese that depend specifically on the gender of the speaker. And Burmese standard word order is subject, object, verb. English's standard word order is the subject, verb, and object. Here are a few examples of the challenges specifically in syntax that educators will be helping their students work through. We also have the nouns in Burmese that are classified as singular, plural, abstract, mass, natural, compound, verbal, and attributive. They're used in diactive and interrogative function. We also have here as a few noun and usage examples. And we also have the verbs that are action, event, equative, qualitative, or quality, and existence. They're also used for past, present, and future. So there are some similarities that the teachers can use to assist in the L2 acquisition. We also have qualitative, demonstrative, enumerative, and interrogative adjectives, and adjectives are commonly known as the diverbal expressions. We also have, questions of the literacy development. And as you can see, I had a model student, Yane, who is a fictional student who will be working with L2 students. We're using Yane as a wonderful example to help us understand further how we can apply the CALPS. For instance, CALPS will take 5 to 7 years approximately to develop. There are various debates. However, probably most likely the best method to acquiring CALPS is through informal and formal instruction, as well as putting students into intervention programs. There will be some setbacks with that. However, if the parents and student, of course, are willing to be in the intervention programs, those can be excellent resources to help students with their more fine-tuned needs in the L2 acquisition. So as you can see, I also listed a number of ways that the lessons can be worked with and conjunctured. I do apologize that I don't have enough time to run through them all. But there are a lot of similarities of the language as well as some distinct differences. For instance, we do use the Latin alphabetic system, while Burmese does not. And so there are some different concepts and ways in which we will need to instruct our students further in ways that we can help them have a smooth transition into L2 acquisition. These are all just different methods and variables, as this is something that is, of course, still being researched. However, there are many methods as instructors that we can use for this. I shall also go ahead and show the resources that were sourced during this time. You can find the majority of them in either JSTOR and the EBSCO system. Those should still be in access as long as you are a student of Texas Women's University or other major universities within the United States. Once again, a huge thank you for listening to this presentation. Of course, if you have any feedback or comments and even questions about the different methods and variables, that would be appreciative. But the big takeaway is when you are teaching a student how to acquire L2, it is, I would say, rather important that you go ahead and understand at least the bare bones of the L1. Without that, it will be very difficult for you to have an accurate understanding of how you can properly help your student thrive and succeed and enjoy the classroom. All of that being said, thank you very much for listening, and I cannot wait to present at a future date.